Hi, I wanted to just go over today what is going on with the original research article. And this isn't going to be a long video, but I really just wanted to make sure that what is going on with the research article is clear. So the original research article is something that I want to make sure you are clear about. So, number one, the research article is going to you've been building up to this, right? With your background essay and then your literature evaluation, you've been gathering research about, okay, what have we done here? What are we doing here? What's going on? And so your original argument now, you are building that. And in your original research article, you're taking what you've learned and you're going to make an argument based on what you've learned. And so you've been building up to this. You are ready for this. And the first thing you're going to do, and the work that you're basically doing this week, is you're going to figure out what kind of argument are you going to make here. And that's where the textbook comes in. You are going to be learning about different styles of argument. Chapters 7 through 12, you have some assignments this week that are going to have you really getting familiar with the different kinds of argument. In chapters 7 through 12, there's like a definition style argument, causal arguments, future arguments, that kind of thing. So I want you to look at those styles of arguments. I am going to show you, it's going to go down to this ebook here. I'm going to click through here. And in the textbook, you can see that there are all these arguments in chapters 7 through 12. In chapter 7 is arguing definition. And so, chapter 7 is arguing definition. Chapter 8 is arguing cause. Chapter 9 is arguing value. Chapter 10 is arguing crisis. Chapter 11 is arguing the past. Chapter 12 is arguing the future. And these are all different kinds of arguments that you can make. These are obviously not the only kinds of arguments, but each kind of argument, for example, if we look at like arguing cause or arguing value, I'm just going to open this up to arguing value. This is obviously the chapter here, but what is nice about each chapter is it has like different kinds of topics that are, what is, when you argue for value, it tells you like what kinds of topics are potentially common for this. And so that's nice. And then it'll tell you how to invent a claim for arguing value. And so as you look at this, you'll be like, hey, this may work for my topic. So when you invent a claim about arguing value, this is how this type of thing works. And so that's nice. And then it has more sample claims. So these are sample claims about politics, education, popular culture, and professional life. And then it has how you would invent support for we're over here, arguing value. And so this is kind of nice. Sorry, my thing is going off. And then how you would arrange this type of argument. So, how should I begin? Writers often begin with a short introduction that leads to a main claim. How do I lead reader from one idea to the next? So it'll show you how to go from one idea to the next, and audience and voice, concessions and qualifiers. So it'll definitely tell you each one of these, like it'll tell you all of these things, how to build the argument stuff. So I want you to look at each kind of argument and see if this might work for you. Arguing crisis is going to look very different from arguing value. So if we look at arguing crisis, the arrangement of arguing crisis is going to look really different than arguing. See, arguing crisis looks completely different than arguing value. Whereas arguing value was like a really kind of abstract kind of thing. You might do this in paragraph 1. You might do this here. The arrangement of arguing crisis is like in paragraphs 1 to 2 you do here, and then paragraph 2 is a qualifier, and then paragraphs 3 and 4 is you have an authority, and paragraph 5 through 9 is a counter argument. Paragraphs 10 and 11 is a qualifier. So each one is different. So I just really wanted to kind of show you that. But you're going to be doing work here, but I want you to skim through each one. So in your original argument, there are different types of arguments, like arguments of value, arguments of crisis, and that kind of thing. And you're going to be working with those different kinds of arguments this week. In your ORA, you're going to revise the research question. You're going to, you have that research question, work that you did, and you are going to try and maybe work off that research question and answer it in your original argument. But I'm telling you, really figuring out, going back to here, what kind of argument that you want to work with, whether it is, and I'm going to collapse this and this, whether you want to argue definition or cause or value or crisis or past or future, that is going to make your job so much easier. I promise you. And that'll help you figure out a research question as well. And you're going to develop a hypothesis. So you are going to need more research for this. You're going to need a minimum of 5 new sources for the ORA. And so keep on browsing, surfing, researching. But what I want to say about this is the place where you can use sources you may not have used before. So you can use like snippets from podcast episodes. You can use YouTube videos. You can use interviews as sources. This is a great place to use those kinds of sources you haven't used before, like even maps. Just cool stuff that you haven't really, but pictures can be a source. All kinds of stuff that you really haven't had a place to use before, use it. And it's a really kind of neat place to put the stuff that you have not been able to use before. So I really encourage you to do that here. So make sure that you do that this week. All right. So that is pretty much it. Let's take a look at kind of what we've got going on. You have the ORA outline due on March 11th. As we get into the modules, I'll show you what that looks like. Let's go down to week 10. The ORA outline, that is right here. And so you need to make sure that you do the scavenger hunt for Tuesday, and then the types of argument discussion, where you're really going to get into working with a small group and all those different kinds of arguments that I showed you over here. You're going to be assigned to a small group, and you're going to be working with the different types of arguments, making a cheat sheet so that you don't have to read each kind of argument in depth. But that is what you're going to be doing for this. The ORA outline has you picking an actual type of argument you think you're going to be using, and then sort of filling it out, your selected argument type, your thesis, your specific structure. And for the structure, that means arrangement. What arrangement are you going to use? Your specific support and your conclusion. And there's a sample outline here that you can use to help you. And that's due on Thursday. That's your Thursday night assignment. And the work that you do before that with your group right here is meant to help you with that. There's going to be some cheat sheets. And then you have on Thursday a first draft submission that is just meant to be truly a first draft. You take your outline and you fill it out a little bit more. So that's what's going on this week. If you have any questions, please let me know.